Hello everyone, meet Billy the Punk Goat. Billy is a hero that loves getting up close and personal to brawl with his enemies. With his baseball bat in hand and his dislike for people, he enjoys nothing more than beating the living shit out of anyone in his way while locking them down with brutal crowd control. His gun fires with a high fire rate and average bullet damage. However, it deals 20% less damage on headshots compared to standard weapons. When continuously firing, Billy experiences heavy recoil and his weapon naturally sprays a lot, making it strong at close range but far less effective at longer distances. For this reason, it is highly advised to counteract the recoil by pulling your mouse downward during sustained fire. With his first ability, Bashdown, Billy jumps into the air, readying his baseball bat before slamming it down into the ground. When his bat collides with enemies, it pulls them down to the ground and deals physical damage to them equal to his light melee damage. Once his bat collides with the actual ground itself, it releases a shockwave that deals 35 spirit damage to all enemies caught in it and knocks them up into the air for 0.4 seconds. The shockwave damage scales by 1.1 with every point of spirit. The melee swing hits all enemies within a 4.5 meter radius around his bat, while the shockwave travels outwards from the impact point for up to 8 meters. You can slightly delay the melee swing when holding the ability button. Bashdown can hold charges, but starts with
just one.
Boom. You tapped that ass, didn't you?
The cooldown between charges is 8 seconds and it takes 35 seconds to regenerate one charge. Once fully upgraded, the cooldown is reduced to 25 seconds, the melee hit radius is extended to 5.8 meters, and the ability deals 60% of his heavy melee damage instead of light melee damage. Let us now move on to his second ability, Rising Ram. When cast, Billy charges headfirst into combat. When colliding with an enemy hero, they take 55 spirit damage and are sent into the air along with him. If Billy collides with multiple enemies, they all get knocked up. They need to be tightly packed for this to work though. The charge has a cast time of 0.51 seconds and goes on a 30-second cooldown. The impact damage scales with spirit power, improving it by 1.7 for every point of spirit. After unlocking all upgrades, if Billy successfully hits an enemy hero, the cooldown is reduced to 15 seconds. He gets a 25% weapon damage buff for 5 seconds, and he deals an additional 6% max HP spirit damage to hit enemies. The max HP damage also scales with spirit power, improving it by 0.02% for every point of spirit. Let us now have a look at his third ability, Blasted. This ability has an active and passive component. Let's check out the passive buff first. Once unlocked, every time Billy melees an enemy hero, he applies the wrecked status effect to them for 7 seconds. This debuff reduces the fire rate of affected enemies by 15%. The second part of Billy's passive lets him reload his gun by meleeing enemy heroes. A heavy melee instantly refills his magazine, while light melee attacks reload 1/3 with every hit. This mechanic scales with his maximum ammo, letting Billy keep up the pressure without stopping for a traditional reload. When activated, Billy gets blasted and deals 9% bonus weapon damage to all enemies affected by the wrecked debuff. Furthermore, every heavy melee hit that connects grants him 80 temporary bonus health, while each light melee adds 40. This bonus health lasts for 11 seconds before quickly fading when not continuously hitting targets anymore. This effect can trigger on multiple heroes with a single melee hit, improving the bonus health gain significantly. The active itself normally lasts 7 seconds, but its duration can be extended by dealing damage. Gun damage only extends it slightly, while melee hits have a much bigger effect, with a heavy melee adding 4.5 seconds and a light melee adding 2.8 seconds. Once the duration runs out, the ability goes on a 27-second cooldown. The melee bonus health scales with spirit power, improving it by 0.8 for every point of spirit. With all upgrades, Billy gains a 2.25 meter per second move speed bonus while blasted. Activating the ability refreshes one Bashdown charge, as well as improving the active's bonus weapon damage to 16%, and the melee bonus health gain is improved to 130 on a heavy melee and 65 on light melees. And finally, let's explore his ultimate ability, Chain Gang. When cast, Billy raises his bat for 2.8 seconds, chaining all enemy heroes within a 13 meter radius to himself. During this time, he also gains 15% spirit resistance and 15% bullet resistance. Chained enemies cannot use movement abilities and receive a 35% velocity slow when they pull on the chain. But beware, your chain can still break if you lose line of sight to your target for too long, or if you're too far from your enemies. Once the 2.8 second window is over, Billy yanks everyone towards himself, dealing 150 spirit damage to every chain target while setting them up for combos with his other abilities. After pulling his enemies in, the ability goes on a 150 second cooldown. The damage scales with spirit power, improving it by 1 for every point of spirit. When fully upgraded, the cooldown is reduced to 125 seconds, the spirit and bullet resistance is improved to 30%, and the spirit damage is improved to 250, as well as granting Billy unstoppable for 2 seconds once he pulls his enemies in. If you'd like to dive deeper, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss our in-depth Billy guide when it drops, as well as our next hero showcase. And if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a Ko-fi or become a YouTube member. It really helps us in our efforts to make these videos for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.